מה אתם חושבים על השחורים העיוורים?
דימונה?
מדהים.
כן, דימונה, לא?
דימונה, כן. כן. אתה מכיר אישי?
אישית לא, אבל מכיר את הסיפור, מכיר את המקום, מכיר את זה. גם אמרו שקנדריק למר קצת קשור לאנשים שם.
מי זה?
קנדריק למר, ראפר מאמריקה.
לא מכיר, אוקיי.
ממש מגניבים, אנשים טובים, התרבות שלהם מעניינת מאוד.
מה דעתך על העיוורים השחורים?
דעתי טובה מאוד, אני מכיר אותם יחסית מקרוב.
כן? איך אתה מכיר?
החברים שגרים בדימונה ומספרים לי עליהם, אז לדעתי, וגם עשו לי, הם היו גרים בערד, הם עשו לי כמה פעמים שירותים, לדעתי מאוד חיובית עליהם.
אוקיי, מה זאת אומרת שירותים עשו לך? איזה שירותים עשו לך?
עשו לי העברה של בית.
אוקיי, אתה מכיר מישהו אישי?
לא, אבל היה מדריך במתנ"ס, מחול, והוא היה מאוד מעורב, והיה חברותי, והיה מעורב מאוד.
העיוורים השחורים, כן, מדימונה. את יודעת משהו?
מכירה, רק בגלל הנציגה שלהם שהייתה בכוכב הבא, אקס פקטור, או שזה לא יהיה כתריה.
מה? עוד פעם?
הייתה להם מישהי בכוכב הבא, אקס פקטור, שהגיעה מהעיוורים מדימונה.
אוקיי, אז בטלוויזיה. אוקיי, חוץ מזה, את יודעת משהו עליהם?
לא, לצערי לא.
על הדת שלהם? אוקיי.
לצערי לא.
אוקיי, את חושבת שהם חלקם הם אזרחים, חלקם לא, שהם יקבלו אזרחות? אלה שהם לא?
אני חושבת שמגיע להם, זאת אומרת הם חיים פה, אין סיבה שלא. זה ככה זה אמור להיות, אבל
זה המדינה שלנו, נו, כן. אוקיי.
הבריתות המדיניות מסייעות, הן אינן אף פעם מושלמות, אבל הן עוזרות לנו, הן משלימות את היכולת שלנו, אבל הן לא תחליף ליכולת שלנו להגן על עצמנו בכוחות עצמנו. אני מאמין בספר הספרים, אני מאמין, איך ידעתם לשים את זה פה? אני קורא את זה כציווי לפעולה שכל דור צריך לעשות כדי להבטיח את נצח ישראל.
Would it be useful to start with Herzl?
Well, I'd start, Herzl was what I call our modern Moses, but I'd actually start with the original Moses. The Jewish people have lived in the land of Israel, what is now the state of Israel, have lived here and have been attached to this place for about 3,500 years, 3.5 millennia. Now, for the first 2 millennia, roughly, of that time, we were living in what is described in a text commonly known as the Bible. So the Bible describes how the Jewish people lived on this land, were attached to this land, fought off conquerors, sometimes were conquered, but stayed on their land. And that continued for a very long time until roughly the 6th, 7th century, actually.
As the book of Samuel says in the Bible, Netzach Yisrael lo yishaker. The eternity of Israel will not falter.
It is the same Bible that tells us in the stories of the Old Testament, much which has guided many people across this world. But when we turn from the Old Testament to the New Testament, it is Romans that says to us, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, not any country, not any human being. so that the Bible can't be used as a convenient aid when it suits us and rejected when it doesn't.
This is our time. Let's get it right. This time we'll be together forever. In the Yama. Let's get it right this time. This is our day. Let's get it right this time. This is our time.
فدولة إسرائيل هي دولة وليست منظمة إرهابية. هي دولة كما قلت مستقلة وشرعية نعم. أخذت شرعيتها من مكانتها في الأمم المتحدة. أما ما تفضل به أبو سيف من أن هذا كيان غاصب فهذا مردود عليه دينيا وسياسيا. دينيا الآية رقم 21 من سورة المائدة تثبت أن بني إسرائيل لهم الحق في الأرض المقدسة. قال الله تعالى: وإذ قال موسى لقومه يا قوم ادخلوا الأرض المقدسة التي كتب الله لكم. إذن الله كتبها لهم ولم يكونوا كيانا غاصبا لها. الكيان الغاصب هو من كان فيها قبل أن يدخلها بني إسرائيل. وبالتالي أنا لا أميل إلى الشعارات والعبارات والمفردات التي عفى عليها الزمن، مثل كيان غاصب وصهيوني وغيره. ولا ينفي أنني عربي اعترافي بإسرائيل أبدا. أنا أعترف بإسرائيل أنها دولة وحقيقة واقعة، ولكن لا أنكر عروبتي ولا أنكر انتمائي للدول العربية.
أنا ما أعرف يعني. شوف، خلينا نحدد إطار الموضوع. القضية الفلسطينية عموما واحتلال فلسطين، هل هو قضية عربية ولا قضية دين؟
ليس هناك احتلال، ليس هناك احتلال. هناك شعب عاد إلى أرضه الموعودة. هل تعرف تاريخ بني إسرائيل؟ ضارب في القدم. وتاريخ بني إسرائيل قبل الإسلام. وبالتالي يجب أن نعترف ونحن مسلمين أن بني إسرائيل لهم الحق في هذه الأرض ولم يغتصبوها. الذي يقول أنها مغتصبة هم الذين ما زالوا يفكرون بعقلية 1950 وما قبل ذلك.
جميل جدا.
قل لي كيف كان علم فلسطين إن كان هناك دولة اسمها فلسطين؟ وما هي عملتها؟ وكم عدد شعبها؟ وما هي عاصمتها؟ وفي عام 1948 عندما أنشئت دولة إسرائيل لم يكن هناك وجود لدولة اسمها فلسطين.
من وين احنا جبنا هذا الاسم واللي قاعد ندافع عنه في أكثر من
لا، هذا تخيل.
ما يكون
ليس له موجود، ليس له وجود أبدا. هم عبارة عن شتات متشتت في بعض والعربية، وكانوا يسمون الكنعانيين أو العماليق أو لها أسماء متعددة. وبالتالي لا وجود لدولة اسمها فلسطين، وأصر أنا على ذلك.
we had Ephraim and Manasseh. Now when Jacob is old and he's ready to pass on, and he knows it's his time, and he is getting ready, he has to pass on these birthright blessings to his sons. And the big question is, who's going to get what? I mean, I don't know if they were thinking that way, but in hindsight, we look back. Now, what he did was, in Joseph, there's a whole story in the Bible. Joseph came to him with his two sons. They sound like these real cute little whippersnappers. They're twins. It talks about them hiding between his knees. You know, and Jacob is all ecstatic. These little grandkids of his that, from his son that he felt his dad was now alive. These two sons, Jacob, and this is in Genesis 48, chapters 1 and on, Jacob, who is now called Israel, you gotta understand, this is the whole thing, adopts Joseph's two sons. Now he can do this because he's the firstborn, and he can, and it says about he can, that he shall acknowledge his all full right to do this. He adopts right then and there Joseph's two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, and he gives them just as Reuben. He says right there, you are my sons just like Reuben and Simeon. So he puts them, boom, right on equal par. They are inheritors of the blessings. They are sons just like his other 11 sons. We're not even talking Joseph. He skips kind of Joseph. He goes right to the sons. He says, they will also, he said, let my name be named on them. In other words, he gave them, this has got to sink in, the name of Israel.
So let's get started. Solomon 930 BC, the United Empire split between the king of Israel and the king of Judah. Now most people have a brain cramp about this time and think that everyone is a Jew. That's an Israelite. That's like saying everyone in the United States is a Tennessean. All Tennesseans are Americans, but not all Americans are Tennesseans. You understand that? All Jews are Israelites, but not all Israelites are Jews. The 10 northern tribes are 10 northern tribes, and they were called Israel. Judah was called Judah. They were not called Israel after this separation. Why? Because the blessing of the name of Israel went to the tribe of Joseph.
A warm and special welcome to all of you from Tomorrow's World. Few today, even among professing Christians, have any understanding of the biblical book of Ezekiel. Few have even read it. Yet Ezekiel's message touches every one of you who are viewing this program, and it will become even more relevant in the days and years ahead. Ezekiel was a young Jew when his city was defeated by the Chaldeans around 597 BC, after which he was taken to Babylon. It was during his captivity that he was given a series of messages to record. But there is something mysterious about these messages. We read in the closing verses of chapter 2 that Ezekiel was to eat a prophetic scroll that contained bad and painful news. He was then to take his message to a certain people, and here we come to the first key that unlocks this mysterious book. Ezekiel's message was for the house of Israel. It's really that simple. Here it is in chapter 3 and verse 1. Moreover, he said to me, Son of man, eat what you find, eat this scroll, and go speak to the house of Israel. Most people who read the book, and let's be honest, that's an ever-shrinking percentage of the population, think that Ezekiel wrote for the benefit of the Jews of his day. This assumption is an error, and here's why. The Jewish nation went into captivity to the Chaldean or Babylonian Empire in 3 waves. Ezekiel was deported in the second wave, and he speaks of the fall of Jerusalem, which would take place in the 3rd and final wave. However, as we have just read, he was to take the message and, quote, go to the house of Israel. Most people wrongly assume this means the Jews. And it's true that Jews are Israelites, but did you know that most Israelites are not Jews?
Let's get it right. Get it right. We'll be together.
It's an uncomfortable fact that the history of our world is all too often defined by conflict. Over the centuries, there have been many examples of invasions, conquests, and captivities. Perhaps nowhere has this been more apparent than here in northern Israel. In the 8th century BC, it was the setting for one of the largest forced deportations ever recorded in human history. Almost 800 years before the birth of Christ, Palestine, then known as Canaan, was invaded by the armies of the Assyrian Empire. This led to the subjugation and deportation of virtually the entire Israelite population into Assyria. What happened next is the subject of our story.
Following their deportation, this huge number of Israelites, taken captive by the Assyrians in the 8th century BC, became known to history as the lost tribes of Israel, not just because they lost their homeland, but also
Israel was founded by people who called themselves Jews, and the Charter, the Declaration of Independence, gives the right to be Jews or Israelites.
We're Israelites, descendants, direct descendants of the biblical Israelites. You see, this is where the confusion has come in. The state of Israel, the present Jewish people are confused, and the entire world has been confused by the word Jew. There never has been and never will be a Jewish nation. This word Jew is merely a religion. So we're talking about a nationality, and the people here are talking about a religion. So therefore, when we came home and we said we were Israelites, it brought confusion because the world has only been used to hearing Jew. A Jew was merely a descendant of the tribe of Judah. This is all that a Jew ever will be in the Israelite nation. There were 12 tribes, and the descendants of the other 11 tribes were not Jews. They were merely Israelites. We have in the midst of us descendants of all the tribes. So therefore, as a group, we're Hebrew Israelites, and those who are of the tribe of Judah could be referred to as Jews.
He's quoting a biblical verse, a nation that's going to stand up like a lion. That's in the book of Numbers, a very famous verse, that the Jewish people will stand up like a lion. We are changing the security, the general security situation, our children. We're changing the general balance of forces in the Middle East for our children's sake,
למען עתידנו,
for our future,
כדי להבטיח
in order
שמה
to
שקרה
ensure,
ב-7 באוקטובר לא יקרה שוב.
so that the 7th of October will never happen again.
לעולם לא עוד.
And now he is invoking also a Holocaust imagery, which he says, never again. Never again is a kind of core Israeli term and Jewish term, which is, we can't allow this to ever happen again.
בעזרת השם, יחד נילחם.
With the help of God, and it's nice that he invoked God's name, and he said, and together we shall fight.
יחד ננצח.
Together we shall be victorious.
ונצח ישראל לא ישקר.
And the eternity of Israel will not lie. That's, of course, from the book of Samuel. So he's quoting verses here of book of Numbers, book of Samuel. He says, with the help of God and with Jewish unity and Israeli unity, we shall not fail. We shall be victorious, and the eternity of God will not lie. It will not fail. All right, so that's really the end of that video. I want to bless you from the land of Israel.
our day. Let's get it right. Get it right this time. This is our time. Let's get it right. Get it right this time. We'll be together for let's get it right. In the Yama. Let's get it right. Get it right this time. This is our day. Let's get it right. Get it right this time. This is our time. Let's get it right. Get it right this time. We'll be together. Let's get it right. In the Yama. This is our day. Let's get it right. Get it right this time. This is our time. Let's get it right. Get it right this time. We'll be together forever. In the Yama. Let's get it right. Get it right this time. This is our day. Let's get it right. Get it right this time. This is our time. Let's get it right. Get it right this time. We'll be together forever. In the Yama. Get it right. Get it right this time. We'll be together forever. Let's get it right. Get the Yama.